Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a really fascinating digital ecosystem where ancient faith, modern finance, and hyper-fast technology are all colliding right now in 2026. If you've ever wondered how young, ambitious people are surviving the pressures of today's digital economy while still strictly maintaining their religious values, well, you're in the right place. We are going to deconstruct exactly what is capturing millions of clicks out there.
Okay, let's dive into this with a massive number, 659,502. That is the view count on just a single piece of content by a creator named Abu Lahia, titled 7 Halal Ways to Make $100 a Day in 2026. Over 500,000 views in just 8 months. This isn't just a random viral hit, right? It's absolute proof of a booming, insatiable demand for ethical wealth creation.
So instead of just guessing the steps, we're going to break down this entire YouTube ecosystem into a clear roadmap. We'll cover the halal hustle boom, do a quick reality check, and then dive into 3 distinct pillars: faith and finance, the AI gold rush, and finally, remote digital labor.
Starting with Section 1, the halal hustles. Boom. This boom is driven by a massive appeal among young Muslims looking to make, say, an extra $100 a day, but ethically. You are part of a rapidly growing community here. So what is a halal side hustle anyway? Basically, it's a modern way to generate supplemental income, usually online, that completely aligns with Islamic ethical and financial rules. And why does this matter so much? Because we're watching a demographic that is desperate to leverage new tech, but they're drawing a hard psychological boundary. They absolutely refuse to compromise their faith for profit.
Moving on to Section 2, the reality check.
So, the crucial point is, before we get completely swept up in the hype of passive income, we really need to see how these creators ground their audiences. It's captured perfectly in a blunt disclaimer from Abu Lahia's description. In all caps, he literally writes, "This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, use your brain." I love that. Despite all the flashy clickbait thumbnails surrounding this niche, the foundational advice remains deeply traditional. Real results require actual work and critical thinking.
And this brilliantly illustrates the wild environment we are analyzing. The algorithm? It doesn't separate secular business titans from faith-based financial gurus. It just blends them all together. You've got Alex Hermosi pushing how to make your first 100K, right next to IFG discussing Islamic wealth habits, sitting directly beside Simon Squibb pushing AI tools. The internet just flattens all these different worlds into a single, unified feed of pure ambition.
That brings us to Section 3, Pillar 1, faith and finance.
This first pillar is really the spiritual anchor of these online ventures. Looking at the source material, there's this fascinating visual and thematic contrast fighting for your exact same attention. On one hand, you have this deep traditional spirituality, content literally titled, "Allah sub WT said do these 5 things to become wealthy." But then boom, on the other hand, you have hyper-modern, speed-obsessed digital capitalism boasting, "I blew up a YouTube channel in 24 hours with AI." It's an incredible juxtaposition, right? Timeless religious guidance going head-to-head with the frantic pace of the internet.
But within that chaos, specific creators work really hard to keep financial ambitions rooted in ethics. IFG breaks down 5 halal side hustle ideas, while Tom J. DeFile offers the best halal business for beginners. And honestly, the most telling piece? A 40-minute breakdown of the daily routine of the prophet. These creators are actively making sure that the pursuit of that $100 a day remains securely tied to the practical daily habits of faith. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 4, Pillar 2, the AI gold rush.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens right after that ethical foundation is set. The algorithm immediately pushes viewers towards the most inescapable market on the internet: artificial intelligence. The sheer volume of attention flowing into AI wealth content in 2026 is just staggering. Millions of views are sitting right in the recommended feed of a single halal side hustle video. Simon Squibb pulling 1.6 million views on AI tools. Jordan Welch with 1.4 million on AI businesses. The underlying message is relentless. AI is your modern vehicle for wealth. And the promises? Totally wild. They're built on these aggressive, rapid-fire timeframes. Tech creators pitch massive returns at hyperspeed, building a 10K a month mobile app in 15 minutes, making $800 in 4 hours, blowing up a channel in a day. The whiplash from our first pillar is pretty extreme. A viewer literally goes from contemplating the patient, lifelong routine of a prophet to being told they can build a software empire in the time it takes to drink a cup of coffee.
Which leads us to Section 5, Pillar 3, remote digital labor.
Okay, but what if you aren't exactly a tech genius, or you just don't trust all the AI hype? Well, that rounds out our ecosystem with highly accessible, non-AI remote work. And the recommendations here are incredibly diverse. You've got people copying and pasting Google Maps searches for passive income, or checking out 9 boring but high-paying remote jobs. People are selling digital notebooks online, or, get this, using free apps that pay you just to listen to music. It really proves that the modern hustle doesn't always have to be some glamorous tech startup. Sometimes it's just about leveraging mundane tasks into extra cash.
We also definitely cannot ignore who a massive portion of this content is aimed at: students. Top productivity creators like Ali Abdaal and Faye Films have these highly recommended videos explicitly detailing strategies for students to make an incredible $10,000 a month. Think about that. The cultural and financial pressure placed on young adults to aggressively monetize every single hour of their free time is just immense right now.
So, that brings us to the ultimate question we have to ask after unpacking this entire ecosystem. We've seen the traditional faith-based guidelines, the hyperspeed AI promises, and the endless remote work hacks all competing for the exact same clicks. So, calling back to that blunt advice that started it all, in the 2026 digital gold rush, surrounded by endless content promising you the world, how will you use your brain? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this gave you a clear, structured look into the modern digital hustle.